Welcome back to my meal prep Sundays, and today I have a special treat for you. It is a mouthful to say, but it is so delicious. I'm going to show you how to make easy meal prep Cajun hot honey chicken keto pasta. The first thing I did was get some water on to boil in about a 3-quart sauce pot. And then I took 12 ounces of boneless, skinless chicken breast. Now, my boneless, skinless chicken breast is actually frozen, and that's okay. I did try to thaw it out, but it didn't make it. So I just sprayed a nonstick skillet with a little bit of olive oil and avocado oil cooking spray. And then I cut those pieces of chicken into bite-sized chunks, and I'm just going to lay them in the skillet in an even layer. I want to make sure all of them touch the bottom of the pan. And I'm just going to cook that chicken until it's completely done. I'll be stirring and tossing it every now and then. I want to make sure it gets nice color on there because we get a little bit better texture. It's going to have a little bit of a crunch. Now keep in mind we have our water in the background coming to a boil, and in a minute I'll be adding the pasta to that. So here's the chicken in the pan. I'm not seasoning it yet. There's the boiling water, so the pasta is about to go in. I'm not seasoning that chicken yet because mine is frozen. As soon as I get it just a little unfrozen, then I season it in the pan. But when you're using boneless, skinless chicken breasts that have not been frozen and they're just fresh, you go ahead and season before you put them in the pan. I just dumped 1.5 cups of that protein penne in boiling water, and I set a timer. I think it's going to take about 8 minutes to cook, so I can walk away from that. But it did boil over on me a few times. I was busy doing something else, and I honestly grabbed a pot that was just way too small, but that's okay. I'm measuring out the ingredients right now for that cream sauce, and then I realized I need to go back and season my chicken. Now that it's no longer frozen solid, it'll be able to accept, if that's the way I could say it, the Tony seasoning. And so I'm seasoning both sides, and I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to let it continue to cook. Again, remember, if your chicken is not frozen, you would of course season it before you put it into the pan. No big deal, but this is just the way I like to do it when it is frozen. And yes, I am individually turning over every one of these pieces of chicken. I could have just tossed them or just grabbed a handful of them and moved them around, but I really want to make sure that every single piece of chicken is going to get some color. And once I've established that, then I don't have to pick up every little piece. And then I finished my seasoning. You want to give your pasta a stir every now and then to make sure that it doesn't stick together, and then that is finished. I'm going to toss my chicken again just to make sure everybody is doing okay. And then we are going to get started on this cream sauce. So I am just going to take my measured out and weighed half and half. You of course could use heavy cream in here if you'd like, or regular milk, but it won't be as creamy. I start adding my seasonings to the cream sauce, which is some Tony's. I'm going to add some garlic powder. I'm going to add some chicken broth, but you know the way I do that is I take the right amount of chicken powder, what I call it. I put that into the recipe, and then I put water to replace, and that's how you make chicken broth from chicken bouillon or chicken powder from the fridge. It's my favorite way, and I'm dying on that hill. I'm going to let the sauce kind of cook a little bit, just get a little bit warmed up. I added the water right there. It was 1/2 cup. So for example, we needed 1/2 cup of chicken broth. So I did 1/2 cup of water, which equals the liquid, and then I grabbed 3/4 teaspoon of that chicken powder and put it in, and then voila, you've got 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Next was paprika, and I want to show you how beautiful paprika makes it. It's such a red color. I don't know. It was so neat looking after I poured it in that I just thought I needed to show you that. And for our cheese, we are doing 1/2 cup of mozzarella cheese. Yes, I'm measuring it for you. Yes, it's important if you're on a weight loss journey. Yes, you need to measure things and weigh things if you are trying to lose weight or eat keto or anything. Yes. All right, so I'm tossing the chicken. Look at those crispy bits that are forming. Okay, now we're ready to make the hot honey sauce that we're going to be pouring onto this chicken. Starting with my favorite hot sauce, which is Louisiana hot sauce, and to that I added some ranch, and this is actually a homemade ranch that I just made with ranch seasoning and light sour cream. I love it so much more than store-bought ranch. And then I put some honey in there. Now back to the cream sauce. It's bubbling and it's beginning to thicken up. You're going to let this cook as long as you want it to based on the amount of thickness that you get. Now I went back to stirring my hot honey sauce and getting that all incorporated. And I'm going to pour that right over the chicken, and you can tell that I reserved just a little bit because we're going to drizzle that over the top of the finished dish. So just tossing that really hot crispy chicken in the hot honey, and I'm going to let it sit there and coat. Now I've come back to the table and I've set up my station for meal prep, and I'm going to add the same amount of the protein penne to each bowl. And there's two things I would like to say here. Number one, the way I do this to get it divided evenly among three is I get a measuring cup and I do it one at a time. And in this particular recipe, and most of them, it always works out to be an even amount. So I'm adding the pasta first. The other thing I would like to say, and you may have never thought about, is that your calories, your macronutrients and everything, it really matters weekly. So if you are doing this meal prep, and let's just say you put a few more noodles in one of those bowls than in the other, as long as you're eating these meal preps in the same week and you've already factored in all the macros for the entire recipe, you're good. It doesn't matter if one of them got a few more pieces of chicken or something. So I added the broccoli in there, and y'all don't skip that step. It really makes a huge difference in the final meal. And that weekly mindset can actually be quite helpful, because if you go over a day on your macronutrients, your calories, your carbs or something, just pick back up the next day, because you can actually make a deficit somewhere later in the week. What does matter are your weekly totals. So did you hit your weekly goal? Not necessarily your daily goal. Although you're trying to hit that daily goal, if you can make it work in the weekly goal, you are going to be successful. So now I'm putting the sauce on top of the pasta and the broccoli. And I feel like I explained it, but I'm an over-explainer, so I'm going to say it a different way. If you had 10,000 calories to eat in 7 days, as long as you hit that 10,000 calories, it doesn't matter on which days you consume those calories. If you had this is a crazy example by the way, but if you had a horrible day of eating and you ate 4,000 calories in one day, that just means, hey, I've only got 6,000 calories left the rest of the week. I can only eat 1,000 calories every day. I'm just saying, if you have goals, they should be weekly attainable goals, and you'll see a huge difference. Okay, I added the hot honey chicken, and now I'm just going to give everything a really good mix, a really good stir. And after it's all incorporated, I'm going to do one final drizzle of that leftover hot honey. And that's pretty much it. These are ready to go. They are beautiful. They are delicious. They are perfect for meal prep. I'm going to pop a lid on them and call it a day.